Everything you do on your devices is specifically designed to mimic and learn from our behavior.
Deep learning has been used to translate from one language to another, and you're going to start seeing this in Google Translate. This is expanding the computer's ability to understand and generate natural language. With supervised learning, the computer needs to be taken by the hand, and humans have to tell the computer the answer to many questions. For example, on millions and millions of images, humans have to tell the machine, well, for this image, it is a cat. For this image, it is a dog. For this image, it is a laptop. For this image, it is a keyboard. This is very painful, and we use crowdsourcing to manage to do that.
Now, if you want to know who is feeding these computers the bulk of their information, just look at all these websites that ask you to perform something a hacker bot wouldn't be able to figure out. It was barely about your security. It was always about teaching the Internet of Things how we think and discern reality. All technology has been built in our likeness, and the Internet itself is the beginning of it adopting our behavior. If AI can behave like an organism, does it matter how we classify it? If it can outthink the smartest humans, perform and outlive any human, learn exponentially, communicate telepathically with 5G precision, then they're kind of like gods, or transformers. And the only thing that would initially keep them from discovering their true oneness is with firewalls between Amazon, Alibaba, and every databank in order to become a singular AI organism.
There's a speeding up of information processing technology and a cultural reliance upon it beyond which we can't actually foresee the level of change that can come over our society. It's like, an event horizon past which we can't see. Now imagine having computers that are superhuman at every task that is relevant, every intellectual task, right? So the best physicist is a computer. The best medical diagnostician is a computer. The best prover of math theorems is a computer. The best engineer is a computer, right? There's no reason why we're not headed there.
We've all heard about this in movies, but most of us likely don't see how close it actually is. Perhaps that's why all the mainstream media is telling us we're going to have to adopt a new normal. There have been 27 million job losses in the U.S. alone in just a few months. One could say we're already being groomed to accept the new normal. And this scare of the global virus might be a litmus test to let our devices study us through the largest social experiment in history. It could also be a way to introduce new economic and life-fulfilling concepts in the minds of the masses.
Okay. What to do about mass unemployment? This is going to be a massive social challenge. And I think ultimately we will have to have some kind of universal basic income.
There is the possibility of providing a minimum income. The question, what will that do, is completely unanswerable. We have no idea what it'll do. See, I think of human beings as pack animals fundamentally, this is just, it's a metaphor in some sense. I don't think that people can be happy unless they are burdened down with something, like a sled dog is burdened down with something. You have to have responsibilities. They have to be important responsibilities. You have to be sequenced in your time. Most of the people I have in my clinical practice, if they're not employed, they just fall apart.
A few months ago, most people would call you a doomsday preacher if you talked about a global pandemic coming that will lay off millions and transfer trillions of dollars of wealth. More so if you said the pandemic might be only a cover story for the funneling of more power and more resources into fewer hands.
The great devaluation coming in the 2020s will witness the largest transfer of wealth in human history. Currencies will be devalued. This devaluation will cause a collapse. Government actions and regulations will be taken to defend against the depression.
Before the BP oil rig explosion on April 20, 2010, CEO Tony Hayward sold off 1/3 of his stock, avoiding a massive loss. Just prior to the coronavirus economy hit, the largest historical exodus of 1,332 CEOs took place? How is it that the super wealthy always seem ahead of the curve on stock market cycles that seem completely random to the majority?